Today is March 25th, 2025. Look at the day that the Lord has given us. It was 87 degrees yesterday. Today's 82, 83. Got a little bit of a breeze going. But I wanted to do an update on some of the additions we've added. I've got one rooster in there. You can see a red silhouette. And then Blackjack is in the other enclosure tent. And they're actually enjoying it. It's actually a really nice breeze. And I've got a garden going up there. I'll have to do a separate video. But I just wanted to do an update because we're supposed to get 7 days of rain. And so I wanted to do an update on our enclosure. It is complete. But we are adding more additions. For those roosters that live up there, we are going to bring them down here, and just more of a permanent structure, and also another garden area for me, and for us to enjoy and to and then, the deer can't really eat anything that's inside the run. Excuse all the mess. We're always working. But we enjoy it. So we've always got projects. So this was built from scratch. And again, we dragged these down piece by piece. Jim and I, a month ago or so. So we've got 2 chicken coops side by side, and again, these are all pretty much rescues, and then ones that I've hatched. My chickens will be 2 years old in April 27th. They'll be 2 years old. So we've got 2. So under this roof here, there's 2 separate structures, and what separates them is that we put up like a little wall there. So they don't fight, but also it's a windbreak. But if you look back at our old videos, there was absolutely nothing here. There was absolutely nothing here except these ugly cement blocks. Like there used to be either a yurt or there used to be something here on the property. We don't know. Look at our view. This is my kitchen window view, guys. This is insane. Like, I'll show you. That's my kitchen window up there. No, that's my bathroom. My kitchen's like right up there. So it's just like, wow, Lord. I get up and I'm in awe. But all that there was here was those ugly cement blocks, and Jim decided to build using those blocks. See, these are the ugly blocks that I was talking to you about. Right? They're not going anywhere. So the same blocks are under here. And so we've got basically 2 structures. And I'll give you the updates of what we added. So here on this property, we are on 4 acres. So it goes beyond the trees. I actually imagine this just a beautiful garden full of wildflowers. So we're thinking, but that is the full-on structure. I'm preparing. This is where the next build is going to be exactly like that build, but there's going to be one here, and then there's going to be one more. And so I'm preparing the ground. So I've kept cardboard. I keep cardboard, and then the rain will just wet it down, and then all the lawn clippings. You can just basically, if you keep your land covered, and it's like permaculture, you're going to get worms and bugs, and they eat up all that. So I'm preparing this for next year's seeds, and it'll be covered. So anyways, we'll just stick to, there's so much. So this is ongoing, but these pillars here weren't going anywhere, so that's why Jim used them to build the chicken run where they're at. So there's a door there. They're all watching. My girls. They're very, very happy. So I asked Jim if he could put together a planter box for me, because my goal, this was back in like, December, January, I was thinking ahead. And I wanted to be able to pick from the garden and feed my chickens. And that's just one of my garden beds. So this has got lentils, it's got a lavender plant, it's got peas, and everything is from seed. I grew everything from seed here. And every day I clip it and it grows. I clip it and it grows. So they get fresh grass, fresh herbs. This is barley. I've got wheat growing here. If I don't clip it for a week, it would be way up here, which is great. This is peas. I grew peas, so I made them specifically put in there so that they could trellis up. I've got sunflowers, and I grew those from seed, and I probably, throughout the property, I've got maybe 100 or 200 sunflower seeds, so they're already this tall or taller. We just love it. We love it. There's never a dull moment. If you can't find me, I'm in my garden. So this is just one of the garden beds. These are all wildflowers that I planted from seed. I totally forgot to mention that we ended up getting a tank because we got so much rain this is a 300-gallon tank. And then of course there's gutters. So gutters throughout this whole thing. So this stayed dry during the rain. And this tank filled up in 2 days. So then I've got a water faucet there. So I've got water down here, which is awesome. Because now I don't have to bring buckets of water to feed my hens. And I can fill this up. It's a little sprayer. I love these. So if it was hot today, so I was able to just use my little sprayer and spray them. But now that I have water, so we've got locks so raccoons or anything can't get in. It's all completely proof, wild animal proof. When you're in a chicken area or you've worked with them like I have for going on 5 years, you learn. So number one, Jim put cameras up so I can watch my chickens anytime I want. There's a chicken camera. You just put it on your app. They have a dust bath. We put rosemary in there, and of course we kind of block the roots. They've got another dust bath there. They've got a lavender there. That's a worm bin. Also, that thing is full of worms. Jim built this from scratch, and these are all secure with a screw in each one, so this doesn't come apart. It's like a little flower bed with worms in it. We've got other little, these little baskets. You put fruit in them. They're little toys. Dottie's taking a dust bath over there, taking a nap. It's completely secure. Nothing can get in. I've got the best view. So this door is going to open up to another run, basically. And that's coming in the future. It's got a roof, but they get the sunlight. They got all the perches they need. I've got my tools here to scrape up their poop and cut them some grass and some herbs. So, this trash can is full of their feed. I've got now running water with a little water hose so I can wet everything down, which is amazing. Amazing. I'm just we just had that tank a couple weeks ago, and Jim immediately one Sunday after church put up the gutters and the pipes and all that, and then he put in these water faucets, and then yesterday I finally got my water hoses. So I'm just so grateful, because now I don't have to drag that thing up the hill, fill it up with water, and drag it back down. That's exercise in itself. You've got plenty of water. We've got a wonderful feeder. It's a no mess, no feeder. So Coop Works, WORX feed silo. It was an invention by a young gal who had chickens, and she was so tired of the chickens making a mess and jumping, the feed wasting, and the hens jumping up on top and pooping. So she really designed it. She designed one, and and her dad said, if you design it, I'll build it. And she did, and it's a company, and Coop Works Feed Silo. So they get to stick their little heads in there, and they get their food. They get their food. And you just fill it up here, and you can tell they're eating because it goes down. So this is a worm bin. So this is filled with worms and compost, red wigglers. And so we throw food scraps in there, and Jim built this with scraps. We add diatomaceous earth, we add lime, we add sulfur. So needless to say, thank the Lord, my chickens are healthy and they lay the most delicious eggs. They've got an automatic door, so that opens at 7 in the morning and then it closes around 8 o'clock p.m. So they're nice and secure. We've got another feeder there. So as you can tell, they're pretty chill. Pretty chill. So they are living in a lap of luxury, and it's it's really funny. So this is this one is a divider, and then we've got 10 chickens. We've got 9 chickens in here and Noah the rooster. That's right, buddy, is Noah. So these are all rescues. These ladies were going to be abandoned in their home since 2021. So the other side we have 6, and there's Napoleon, and so I think that's all the features I was going to share, but it's just so nice. We'll just sit out with them, and I was sitting with them here, and I'll just throw them some fruit and strawberries, and they get fresh cut grass every day. It's just really nice, so we're thankful. So we're getting that rain, so that's why I wanted to do a little updated tour. Since this filled up so quickly, this water tank, we were thinking about getting another one, but we may just kind of divert the water. As you can see, we got so much water, Jim had to divert it out that way. So, but you know, and again, we were slipping and sliding here, so he put those down for me. Pavement, you know, tile, pavement, whatever that is. We're going to do another flower bed here. We just planted grapevines yesterday, so we may plant 2 there, because then I would love them to trellis up and around, and then the girls get more shade. We're in Santa Cruz, guys. It's 80. So this is the water hose he bought for the other coop. So this is Napoleon's. Again, I got the same here, where I don't slip and slide when I'm collecting eggs. You want to come in, buddy? Come in. Come in. The girls are... Be careful, buddy. So, again, it's a little bit smaller coop, but it's pretty good. There's 6 girls in here. Oliver's going to steal their food. We've got a camera there. I can hang more plants there. I had to take my plants down because they were getting too hot. They've got a roof. They've got a perch. They've got their feeder. They've got their water. They've got another feeder here where they stick their little heads in there. Say hi, ladies. They've got their stairway to their little coop, all from scrap wood. They've got running water. And so they'll poop everywhere. So I've got a scraper, and I just scrape it off, and then I put sulfur and diatomaceous earth or lime. They don't have a compost bin yet, but we throw all the food scraps there that we collect from the grocery stores here in Santa Cruz. You know, you just ask them, they give you your scraps, and you can start your own garden. So Jim's going to build one there, but in the meantime, they can scratch for bugs and worms. We've got a couple of little worm bins there. I try to keep them watered, but now that I have running water, I'll be able to do a better job. So there are little baskets with fruit in them. Here, Mama. So yeah, they're all taking a nap. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. So they're nice, safe, and secure. So, well, like we went out of town this weekend, so we just prepped them with grass and clippings and herbs, all from their little garden there. So I mean, that's just the beginning. I'm gonna get more rosemary. I'm gonna get more sage, and this is miner's lettuce. And it's because the gold miners in 1849 would come in, when they came to search for gold, they would eat this. Isn't that beautiful? Well, this is all over the property, all over. So every day they get fresh miner's lettuce. And it's for them, it's for Jim and I. We just haven't yet put it in our salads. We'll just walk up real quick. We'll walk up. So this is how we should carry the waters or the feeders to come and fill them up, and so it's so much better. I don't have to do that, but the Lord gives us energy, gives us the strength. I know, buddy. So this is Rooster's enclosure, Blackjack. But in the daytime, he loves to be out, even though that's his house. He's got his own automatic red door. So he, this is all open, and he stays here. He can walk all around, and he's safe. But that little boy wants to be with Mama all the time. So we made him another yard. He's got his water there. So around 5 p.m. or so, 6 o'clock, we put him back in here. In the meantime, and we have to keep the roosters separated because they will fight, even though I raised them together. Oh, you get out of breath quickly. So this is Red. I raised him we hatched him. So he'll be 2 in April. Ah, buddy, he's super shy. And then that one is Blackjack. And so they're separate. And I cleaned all this out today. These ones, when we first got here, these ones were not plugged into the sprinklers, so they died. So my next project is I'm going to cut those off today, put new soil, new compost, and plant in my seedlings in there. So I cleaned all this aisle up today, so they now can see each other. And then, I've had roosters for years now, so now I understand. You can pull them apart, but they will go back. If they're 500 feet away, they will run to each other just to fight. So I thought, why not clear this path, let them see each other, and sure enough, it calmed them down. They can't be touching because they will fight, because we try it once a week. I think, well, maybe they'll get along. Their name should have been Cain and Abel. But it's Red and Blackjack. And so when I cleared this today of shrubs and dried, all this I cleared, put it on the roof because they like a little bit of security. They literally started just pacing back and forth and eating the grass like they should. And so my theory worked. When they could see each other, they calmed down, but they can't touch each other. So something I learned in the last week, I thought if I covered all this up with shrubs, they, anyways, my theory worked. So I'm grateful. So they're in these temporary enclosures, but they're safe. And we've got the logs all around the tents, these metal tents. And they get to free range, one at a time. They get to free range. And Oliver, he'll go in and steal their food. So they get to free range all on this temporary green fence. So But once I let them out, they want to fight. So once Blackjack goes to his home, the one I just showed you, I let Red out, and Red tends to just come back here. I also planted barley. That's barley growing in there, and alfalfa. And this is Blackjack. Hey, baby. So, yeah, buddy. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Gonna offer Mama some food? Yeah. So precious. Yeah, he gets peanuts. You can't go up because you'll fight with your brother. How about in a little bit? Watch, I'll show you. But I see, so he sees his brother, so they act like they're eating food, and then they'll go at each other through the fence, but they can't touch. So yeah, so those are my boys. It is 80. It is absolutely gorgeous, but oh wow, thank you Lord, we just got a nice breeze. So there's my bedroom, our bedroom window up above, and we get to see my boys. Well, we get to hear them first thing in the morning. Needless to say, I was up at 5. Oliver, you're helping give the tour, buddy? Come here. Yeah, Benny. So this is my little garden. We've got compost from a lovely neighbor, horse manure. She's given us full access, which is like gold. It's literally gold. And I've got all my little seedlings here. I've got summer squash, I've got onion, sunflowers, sage, tomatoes, grass clippings that are herbs for the girls that we planted. That just thing that keeps giving and giving. I've got blueberry bush there. I've got sunchokes, sunflowers, marigolds, lettuce, wildflowers, onion. That's a volunteer onion. I've got peas all along there because they're going to trellis up that I grew from seed. I've got radishes there. I've got radishes here. This is all barley for the chickens. And then we planted our grapevines last night. I've got tomato and nasturtium here. And then these ones are sunflowers and sunchokes, which they're in the same family. And then I've got little seedlings that are just popping out. This one just popped out today, and this one looks like a radish. And these are summer squash, and that's onion. And I planted 50 more this morning and watered them. So we just love it. We were out here at dark last night with our flashlights. We finally got those in. And just, I'm gonna cover this up because I don't want, we have deer on the property, and it's fine, you know, we're gonna lose some. But, and then Jim and I made these screens out of burlap, and they go over my garden boxes. They just sit right over here, the 3 screens, perfectly. And so when they were seedlings, they were protected. It's just burlap, and so Jim formed them, and I actually put the burlap and stapled each one. So that was really cool. But the rain hits them, but they're protected from the wind. It was just my invention. I'm like, this is what I need. I need something to cover my plants or seedlings. What do we do? And I began to think and ponder. And then I said, how about burlap and these little trays? And we could do it. And so I was like, I'll help. So needless to say, my hands got all beat up and stuff. But stapling with the staple gun. But we love it. But Oliver's like this. All of them follow me everywhere. The cats, the roosters, because I do let them free range. Oliver, you free range too, buddy? You have to be careful with the asphalt. Been filling up my hummingbird feeders, but they are eating less and less because things are blooming. And these are my newest babies. So these ones I just got them started last night. No, this morning at 6 a.m. using my soil blocker. And you just make the little pods of soil and you stick the little seed in the divot. So I planted all kinds of things in here. So then later on when Jim gets home, he's going to help me put them in the garden bed. And these ones will cover with those covers that we made out of burlap, because these ones, if like a deer got in there tonight, it would stomp all over them. So that's a little bit more protection. So, oh, there you are, Olivia. So if you don't hear from me for weeks, I'm in my garden. And I have morning glory. I have Mexican morning glories, heirloom morning glories I grew from seed. They're only like 2 inches tall. So here's more of that miner's lettuce. It's all throughout here. If you just look around, you see the Lord everywhere. And I cut it and it grows, and I cut it and it grows. Look at that. So along here, I'm like, So along here I've got sunflowers and peas, each one. So I planted these ones from seed. I started them in December. So sunflower, there's a pea, and they have their little hands and they trellis up. So my idea was to put them on a trellis that was already here. So there's a sunflower, and there's a sunflower, and everywhere there's a little stone I know that to me it's a reminder, okay, water the plants. And we've got a drip line here. So I got them all the way down, and then I've already cut these weeds, trimmed them once, and they just grow. But they're beautiful though. So our idea is to put arches around here. So it'll be like this beautiful arch. I've got morning glories I planted down here. Here's one. It's a Mexican morning glory. And then I believe here's another one. And I've got 2 in my garden bed. And so, yeah, I imagine this to have an arch and like wiry, and then the morning glories or the bougainvillea, and the I've got sunflowers here too. So they're gonna trellis up, and I can tie them, you know, because they get so big that you have to tie them. And that was a lesson I learned in 2021. They were so big. I planted a plot of sunflowers, like probably 10 by 10, and they were so tall in Vacaville and so, you know, big that they were kind of bending over. The heads of the sunflower were so massive. And so now I learn, okay, put them next to something. So I didn't know I was going to give you the whole tour, but I hope you enjoy, and it all belongs to the Lord. We are just here for the season until God calls us home, and I keep my eyes on Him. I just love to spend time in the Word and then come out and see everything that He has, and we, work, and we just enjoy the garden and everything that He's given us. So on that note, have a wonderful day. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in Him.